Your brain is aging right now, not in some distant future, not in decades. Right now, at this very moment, your brain cells are either being protected or damaged based on what you did today, what you ate today, what decisions you made about your health today. And here is what most people do not realize. You have more control over your brain's future than you think. You have more control than your genetics. You have more control than your family history. You have more control than the cards you were dealt at birth. The question is whether you are willing to take that control back. I am Dr. William, and today I am going to show you something that completely changes how you should think about your brain, about aging, about Alzheimer's disease, and about your future. Let me start with a startling statistic. Every single day, more than 10,000 Americans turn 65 years old. And for every single one of them, there is a 1 in 3 chance that they will develop some form of dementia or Alzheimer's disease before they die. That is staggering. That is 1 in 3. But here is what is even more staggering. Most of these people think their brains are predetermined. They think if their parents had Alzheimer's, they are destined to get it. They think if their genetics are bad, there is nothing they can do about it. They think the sentence has already been written. They think they are victims of their own biology. This is completely wrong. This is factually incorrect. This is contradicted by the latest science. And I want to tell you about research that is going to change how you think about your brain forever. In 2025, scientists at Harvard University and MIT conducted a landmark study. They followed more than 5,700 people. They followed them for decades. Some of these people were followed for more than 34 years. The researchers looked at something very specific. They looked at people who had a genetic risk factor. They looked at people who carried a gene called ApoE4. If you carry this gene, it means you probably have a family history of Alzheimer's disease. Your parents probably had it. Your grandparents probably had it. This gene puts you at the highest possible risk for developing dementia. This is like being dealt the worst possible hand in a card game. This is your worst case scenario genetically. But here's what happened. The researchers divided these people into 2 groups. One group ate a typical modern diet. The other group ate a Mediterranean diet. They followed them over time, and they measured who developed dementia and who did not. The results were shocking. Even people with the highest genetic risk, even people with 2 copies of the ApoE4 gene, even these people had significantly lower rates of Alzheimer's disease if they were eating a Mediterranean diet. Think about that for a moment. Your genes do not have to determine your fate. Your diet can override your genetics. Your food choices can change the trajectory of your brain's aging. This is not metaphor. This is not motivation. This is science. This is measurable. This is observable. This changes everything. So the question becomes, what exactly is happening inside your brain when you eat certain foods? Why does a Mediterranean diet protect your brain even if you have a genetic risk? The answer takes us deep into the molecular biology of your brain, into the chemistry of how your neurons work, and into something that sounds simple, but is actually quite profound. It is about fat. The food you eat today will become part of your brain tomorrow. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, not muscle, not protein, fat. 60% of the dry weight of your brain is made of fatty acids. These fatty acids form the membranes of every single neuron in your head. They form the communication networks between brain cells. They form the protective coating around your nerve fibers. When you eat fat, you are literally feeding your brain the building blocks that it uses to construct itself. The question becomes not whether you should eat fat, because you absolutely should, but which fats you should eat. Let me tell you about the fats that destroy your brain, the fats that accelerate aging, the fats that increase your risk of Alzheimer's disease. There is a research study from Zhejiang University in China that looked at 13 different clinical trials involving more than 21,000 people. The question they asked was simple. How do different types of dietary fat influence the risk of Alzheimer's disease? What they found was dramatic. People who consume the highest levels of saturated fat from red meat had a 39% increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. 39% higher risk. That is not a small effect. That is not a marginal finding. That is huge. But it gets worse. People who consume the most trans fat had a 48% increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. 48%. Trans fats are basically found in ultra-processed foods. They are in fried foods. They are in cheap baked goods. They are in the foods designed to stay on a shelf forever. They are in the foods that your body was never meant to process. Why do these fats destroy your brain? Because saturated fats promote inflammation throughout your entire body, including your brain. Inflammation is like a fire burning inside your head. It damages brain cells, it breaks down the structures that hold neurons together, it interferes with communication between brain cells. Trans fats do something even worse. They get incorporated into the cell membranes of your neurons. They literally become part of your brain cells. And when they do, they change the structure of your cells. They weaken the protective barriers. They interfere with the electrical signals that neurons use to communicate. They essentially poison the architecture of your brain from the inside. This is not a small effect. This is catastrophic. But here is what most people do not know. There are fats that do the exact opposite. There are fats that protect your brain. There are fats that actually reverse the aging process. There are fats that make your brain more resilient. There are fats that lower your risk of Alzheimer's disease dramatically. People who consume the most omega-3 fatty acids had a 28% lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. 28% lower. That means if you eat the right fats, you can cut your risk nearly in half. Omega-3 fatty acids are found in seafood. They are found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel, and anchovies. They are also found in walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds. What do omega-3s do? They reduce inflammation in your brain. They protect your blood vessels. They strengthen the connections between neurons. They improve blood flow to your brain. They help your brain cells communicate more effectively. They help your brain repair damage. They help your brain adapt to new information. Now, I want to tell you about something that is going to blow your mind, something that changes the entire conversation about saturated fat, something that researchers discovered less than 10 years ago. There is one type of saturated fat that appears to be beneficial for your brain. It is called C15, pentadecanoic acid. This is a saturated fatty acid that your body cannot produce on its own. You have to get it from food. It is found in small amounts in whole fat dairy. It is found in fatty fish. It is found in grass-fed beef. It is found in some plants, but most people do not get enough of it. When researchers first discovered C15, they found it in dolphins. They discovered that dolphins with higher levels of C15 in their blood had better brain function, better metabolism, lower rates of disease, and lower rates of Alzheimer's disease. They found that C15 protects against the formation of amyloid plaques, the toxic proteins that accumulate in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. But how does it work? C15 does something remarkable. It restores mitochondrial function. Your mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside your cells. They are the batteries that give your cells energy. As you age, your mitochondria break down. They stop producing energy efficiently. Your cells become tired. Your brain becomes tired. But C15 can restore the function of your mitochondria. It can recharge those cellular batteries. C15 also stabilizes cell membranes. It makes the protective coating around your neurons stronger. It reduces inflammation throughout your body. It activates a special receptor called PPARs, which are master switches that control your metabolism, regulate inflammation, and help with blood sugar control. And it does all of this while being a saturated fat. This is the exception to the rule. This is the twist that Mother Nature throws at us. Most saturated fat is bad for your brain, but C15 appears to be protective. So what does this mean for you? What are the practical steps you can take right now to protect your brain? First, eliminate trans fats from your diet. They do not belong in your body. They are not real food. They are industrial products. Get them out. Eliminate processed meats, deli meats, bacon, sausage, hot dogs. These are loaded with saturated fat, sodium, and inflammatory compounds. They are associated with higher cancer risk. They are associated with higher dementia risk. Get them out of your diet. Dramatically reduce your intake of red meat. I am not telling you to eliminate it entirely. I'm telling you to cut it down. Cut it way down. Eat red meat rarely. Eat it as a treat, not as a staple. Second, increase your intake of omega-3 fatty acids. Eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies. These are among the healthiest foods on the planet. If you are plant-based, eat walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds. Your body will convert the precursors into omega-3 fatty acids. If you want to supplement, you can, but get most of your omega-3s from food. Third, start incorporating more C15 into your diet. Eat whole-fat Greek yogurt. Whole-fat yogurt is better for you than skim yogurt. Choose whole-fat dairy products over skim dairy products. The skim versions have essentially zero C15. Eat fatty fish regularly because fish is a great source of C15. Eat grass-fed beef in moderation. Use Pecorino Romano cheese, a small amount, as a garnish for your pasta because it has C15 and it tastes amazing. These choices will increase your C15 intake. These choices will give your brain the building blocks it needs to stay young. Fourth, use extra virgin olive oil as your primary cooking oil. Ditch the vegetable oils, ditch the butter. Use extra virgin olive oil. It has polyphenols. It has anti-inflammatory compounds. It has protective compounds called oleocanthal and hydroxytyrosol. These compounds protect your brain's circulation. They protect your neurons from damage. They reduce inflammation. Extra virgin olive oil is not just a fat. It is medicine. It is food as medicine. Fifth, eat a Mediterranean diet pattern. Build your meals around whole foods. Build your meals around colorful vegetables, fruits, herbs, legumes, whole grains, seafood, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. Avoid the processed middle aisles of the grocery store. Spend your time in the produce section and the seafood section and the bulk section. This is where real food lives. This is where brain health lives. Now, let me tell you why this matters so much. Because your brain is not just some passive organ sitting in your head. Your brain is actively being remodeled every single day. Every thought you have, every experience you have, every food choice you make is literally rewiring your brain. It is changing the structure of your neurons. It is changing the connections between your brain cells. It is changing the chemistry of your brain. When you eat foods that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, you are literally strengthening the connections between your neurons. You are improving the insulation around your nerve fibers. You are improving blood flow to your brain. You are giving your brain the raw materials it needs to repair damage, fight inflammation, and resist aging. But it goes deeper than that. Your gut microbiome is connected to your brain. This is called the gut-brain axis. The foods you eat feed your gut bacteria. The foods you eat determine which bacteria thrive and which bacteria die. When you eat a Mediterranean diet, you feed the good bacteria in your gut. These bacteria produce compounds that reduce inflammation throughout your entire body, including your brain. These bacteria produce compounds that support your immune system. These bacteria produce compounds that help your brain work better. The research on this is overwhelming. The data is clear. The evidence is unambiguous. You can protect your brain. You can lower your risk of Alzheimer's disease. You can do this even if you have a genetic risk. You can do this even if your family has a history of dementia. You can do this by making different food choices. You can do this by eating a Mediterranean diet. You can do this by choosing the right fats. You can do this starting today. I want to leave you with one final thought. Your brain health is not determined by your genes. Your brain health is determined by your choices. Your choices about food, your choices about movement, your choices about sleep, your choices about stress management, your choices about social connection. These are the things that matter. These are the things that determine whether you live a long, vibrant, cognitively sharp life or whether you slip into cognitive decline as you age. The Mediterranean diet is not restrictive. It is not boring. It is not a punishment. It is pleasurable. It tastes good. It is abundant. It is the way people in Mediterranean countries have eaten for thousands of years. They have lower rates of Alzheimer's disease. They have longer lifespans. They have better brain health. They know something about food that we have forgotten. They know that food is medicine. They know that eating is a form of self-care. They know that every meal is an opportunity to either protect your brain or damage your brain. They know that this choice matters. So here is my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, commit to eating a Mediterranean diet. Commit to eating fatty fish twice a week. Commit to using extra virgin olive oil. Commit to eating vegetables and fruits and whole grains. Commit to eating nuts and seeds. Commit to reducing your intake of red meat and processed meat. See how you feel. See how you think. See how your brain responds. I bet you will notice a difference. I bet you will have more mental clarity. I bet you will have better focus. I bet you will have more energy. I bet you will sleep better. I bet you will feel better. And if you found this helpful, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. Please share this with someone who you think might benefit, because brain health is not just your responsibility, it is also your opportunity. It is your chance to take control of your future. It is your chance to protect the most important organ in your body. It is your chance to live a long, healthy, vibrant life with your cognitive abilities fully intact. This is not something your doctor can do for you. This is something you have to do for yourself. But the good news is you can do it. The power is in your hands. The power is in your food choices. The power is yours. Thank you for your important time. Take care.